Well, here we are in 2021. Things are going, things are going. Hopefully things will get better. I think we are on the right path. We have some opportunities. I wanted to, just touch base, say thank you for listening, watching. We've got some podcast episodes up and running, both in back in step, as well as the wife and I working on our CLN Mona's our mid-century life. Mid-century being, we're both over 50, so we have some stuff we would like to share. It's good information. Now, what you do with that information, of course, is entirely up to you. I know when I was 20, had someone in their 50s told me something. Maybe I would have listened, maybe I wouldn't. Probably not. I was a little bit more aware. I guess I should say I was a little more self-aware when I was that age. I did have some interesting adventures that kind of taught me some very important lessons. For instance, there was this one time in Texas where me and a few friends went to the Guadalupe River for a weekend. It was a tubing trip. It was a really nice summer weekend. And, we were all like 19, 20 years old. And so we took a couple cars down there. We dropped one car off down at the end of the run, which is about, I want to say about 3 to 5 miles. It was a pretty decent trip, right? It was supposed to take basically all day. And so, we're all amped up, full of vim and vigor, as they say. We went to we dropped the one vehicle off at the end, and then we took our tubes and we all went up to the beginning of the run and we put the vehicle there. So, that way we could, what I'm saying. It's all about logistics. So we got our tubes set up and we got onto the river, and oh my gosh, it was such a beautiful day. Now this is back in, I guess this was 1985. Yeah, I believe it was the summer of 85. It was the summer of madness, really, I guess, on the West Coast in the LA area. That was when what was it? Richard Ramirez, what did they call him? Son of Sam or something like that. It was not Son of Sam. Gosh, now I can't remember what it was. But he was a serial killer, and he was just running circles around the police out there. But anyway, I digress. So we got our tubes, we got on the river, and we're just relaxing and we're chilling. And the river is just, it was, I don't know if it still is. I haven't been down there in decades, actually. But it was really beautiful. There was a lot of people on the river that day. I want to say hundreds, if not thousands, of people in various stages down the river. It was a beautiful summer day, and that was what we did, right? So there was rafts, and there was tubes, and there was kayaks, and the whole deal. And so we're going down, we're floating down the river, and we're chatting, and we're stopping at certain points. Like there was one really nice point where it was really deep, and people were like jumping off cliff into the river. Oh, so cool. That was a pretty good jump too. I think when I made it, it scared the bejesus out of me because it felt like it took me a little while to hit the water. So I would say it was probably a good maybe 25 to 35 feet, somewhere in that arena. But it was a lot of fun. We were just having a blast. Until I died. Yeah. So there was a spot on the river where people would congregate because it was always rather relatively amusing, I suppose. It was a bit of a waterfall, and it wasn't very tall. It was maybe 2 or 3 feet of a drop off from the water going over and then leveling back out. But you think about it, that river was wide. I mean, I would say there was 1 million gallons of water going over that thing every minute. I mean, it's crazy. So, not everyone would go over the waterfall. Some people would stop just before they got there. They'd go to the bank and they'd walk around the waterfall and they'd get back on the river and they would continue on. Well, that's what we planned on doing. Yeah, things don't always go to plan. So there was 4 of us, and we had kind of gotten our tubes together, and we were like making our way to the embankment. We're kind of holding on to each other's tubes, so we kind of stayed together. And this raft came by and bumped my tube and kind of turned me around. And so I lost grip, and there I was floating far enough away from the embankment that there was no way I was going to get to it before I got to the waterfall. So my mind is racing, and I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to do? I'm just supposed to go over the waterfall with this tube, right? And I heard like shouts, not really shouts, but like instructions from the bank where they were saying, paddle, paddle, faster, faster. So you have to go over it pretty good, like at a good clip, so that you can, basically, get across the waterfall without that kind of backdraft pulling you down. And so yeah, I started paddling and got to the waterfall, and I could tell I wasn't going fast enough. Oh, I could tell. And you know what pissed me off? Pissed me off more than anything is I heard someone just as I went over, just as I went over the waterfall. I still to this day hear this guy's voice, and it was a dude, and he said, "Wipe out." And sure as shit, man, I hit the water, and the tube just backflipped me, man. It went backwards towards the waterfall, and all that pressure of that water just kind of sucked me under. And so it wasn't very deep. It's maybe 8 feet, I guess, but 8 feet is enough. I was only almost 6 feet, so I'm still screwed, right? So, and of course the force, I mean, just the sheer force of all of that water coming over that waterfall, it just pushed me down. And I mean, really the only thing that I could do, like the words kept repeating in my head, was hold your breath, hold your breath, hold your breath. So I held on to the tube because I obviously it's going up. So I'm like, all right, well, I'll just ride the tube back up. And so as the tube popped up into the air, I took a deep breath. But as soon as I did, someone said, "Look out!" Of course they did, right? An 8-man raft came across the flippin' waterfall at that point and just right on top of me. So that knocked me loose from the tube that I was holding on to. And the next thing I know, I was just literally being tossed around like a rag doll underneath that waterfall. I got slammed up against the back of the waterfall and twisted around. And eventually, I don't know for how long, and eventually I got spit out. That's when I blacked out. So I don't know what all happened from that point until the next point. I can only go by what I was told. So apparently, there was this older gentleman, which is funny. They say older gentleman. He's probably younger than I am now then. His wife like held on to his legs, and he leaned over the side of their raft, and grabbed me by the hair and pulled me up. Yeah, I had hair then. And then pulled me out of the water, and then they got me to the shore, and just out of blessed luck, there was someone there who was like a part-time lifeguard, and she resuscitated me. I came to sputtering and spitting and choking, and I don't know how long I was under, but most people say it was something close to like 3 minutes. Not very long, right? But enough. So yeah, so there we go. First time I died, 19. And to show you the height of stupidity of a 19-year-old, I got another inner tube. I got back on the river and I finished the run with my friends. How ignorant is that? How stupid is that? I look back on it and I think, wow, the arrogance, just frightening. But, there's your lesson. You look back and you start thinking about things like that in those moments, and you think about what could have been and what was, and you try and take some sort of learning from it. So my learning was, don't be an idiot, and learn how to swim better, and probably not getting back on the river for a little while. And it was a long time before I did any more inner tubing or anything on a river. So it took me a while to actually get back in the water other than a swimming pool. And even swimming pools can be dangerous, but yeah, a little different in that scenario. But yeah, just there you go. Take your life lessons as they come and really try and learn from them. Hopefully, we've seen a lot of life lessons over the last year or so. Hopefully, we are going to take those life lessons and learn something from them. We can only hope, right? We can only give it our best shot. So, with that, I leave you. Today's vlog was more for me than you, I suppose, but there you go. Hope you have a great day. Take care.